So the question is, what do you do if the only prospects to date are friends, people you've known for a long time, and you put yourself in an awkward situation where you're risking friendships, and instead you really just want to be finding someone for true love? And how do you go about doing that? How do you go about meeting other people? Does that sound about right?
Yes.
It can be tough, right? When all the people that you know are people that you would naturally be attracted to, which is why you want to be friends with them, but now you've developed these friendships and you really want to turn it around so that maybe you can date them, but then you run the risk of losing the friendship, you put that friendship at risk, you might lose the friend if you go for this. Does this all sound accurate?
Yeah.
All right. So one of the cool things about friendships is people don't use them for what they're actually worth. One of the best things you can do with a friendship is you can lean on it a little bit. And that doesn't mean lean on it to try and turn it into a date, which is what a lot of people do. Instead, you can reach out to the beautiful women that you're attracted to, that are all your friends, and say to them, hey, this is awkward, but can I pull a favor? And they'll say, what? And say to them, I am really lonely, and I'm looking to meet someone. I want to fall in love. And I don't really know anyone that isn't a friend. All the women in my life, I look after them, I care about them, I put so much effort into helping them that I am well and truly good friends with them. And I don't want to cross that line with them, but that means that I don't really meet any women because I've just got all these beautiful women that are friends. Do you know anyone that might be interested in going on a date with somebody like me? Now what you're doing is you're taking your friend group of, how many women do you know that you're friends with? Would you say like close friends or even just good friends?
Somewhere between 20 and 30.
20 to 30. If each one of them has 3 women that are friends of theirs, that gives you access to a private network or dating site of 60 to 90 women that you could potentially date, just by reaching out to your friends and admitting that you'd like help meeting somebody. Did you know that some women's favorite thing in the world is to take guys out to bars and help them meet other women? They love it. It's like their idea of fun. They will go to a bar with you and they will approach all the beautiful women in the bar and talk about how great you are. And this will actually trigger a psychological principle known as preselection, which will make you 20% more attractive than you actually are. I'm not just making up that number. They've done actual studies where they take a picture of a guy, go up to women and say on a scale of 1 to 10, how attractive is this guy? Then they'll take the same picture, but they Photoshop 2 women either side of him and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how attractive is this guy? And the average response is a 20% increase. If most people thought the guy was a 6, he goes up to an 8, or he goes from an 8 to a 10, just by having 2 beautiful women hanging on him and looking interested in him. If you go into a bar with your friends who are women and they are going around meeting women and helping them introduce you, your success rate will be 20% more effective, which is huge considering you probably don't have a 10% success rate. You've probably got a significantly better one, you've just never tested it. So by asking women to help you, you gain a whole bunch of allies pushing you and getting you exactly what you want. There is another hidden benefit to this. If any of the women who you're friends with are attracted to you, they'll say to you, yeah, I'll go on a date with you. And they'll make it real clear right then that they've been waiting for you to make that move. And now you can go on a date with one of your friends and see if it's right or see if it isn't. To show you how effective this is, when I was studying and learning this whole dating thing, I decided to test this theory. I was sitting indoors, it was raining, and I didn't want to go to bars, I didn't want to bother going out. So I just reached out to every woman who I knew who I'd either had a relationship with, not had a relationship with, who I was friends with, or even just casually had met one time. And I messaged all of them and said, hey, I'm currently single and I'm bored. I've got like a couple of weeks where I've not really got anything going on. Do you know somebody that might like to go on a date during that time? Within 24 hours, I had 5 dates lined up over the next week. Blind dates with women that I'd never met. One of them ended up being a model from Denmark. So she says to me, yeah, I'd love to go on a date with you, but I live in Denmark. And so I look up flights to Denmark. Turns out they're like, 50 pounds on it was EasyJet. It's like this cheap airline. And so I jump on a flight, go to Denmark, turn up and say, hey, listen, I'm really looking forward to going on this date. We'd go on a date. It was wonderful. And at the end of the date, I said, I got a bit of a problem. She went, what's that? I was like, well, I only bought a one-way flight and I didn't get a hotel. And she says to me, well, that's a really stupid idea. Do you want to sleep on my sofa? And I was like, I'd really like that, yeah. We ended up spending the next 7 days having mad, crazy sex with each other while I was out in Denmark. It was one of the most incredible experiences. This is one of the most beautiful women that to this day I've ever dated. And it was 7 days and it was absolutely wonderful. And then at the end of the trip, I flew back to London and forgot that I had dates with other women lined up, and I had to go out there and set up those dates and do that. And this is what my life ended up being like when I was learning dating. And this was one of the very first techniques that I tried out. I can't illustrate how strong this technique is and how everyone should be doing it. So many guys make the mistake of making friends with a woman and then trying to date that woman, rather than realizing that that woman is the gateway probably to 3 or 4 single people who want to date someone just like you. And you have a woman who will stand up and say, this is a great guy. This is exactly the kind of guy you should date. And you will get an absolute, glowing reference to go on this date. As an added benefit, you can say to your friend, hey, before the date, could you give me a makeover? Could you help me dress in the way that I need to dress? Can you give me some advice on where to take them? Your friend will then go to that person and find out what they want to do, what their ideal date is, and then come back to you and say, yeah, this is what you need to do. You will get the biggest lift up to make that work. I almost guarantee you within a month, you'll have a girlfriend if you follow this exact technique based on the amount of women you know. If you're willing to maybe travel a bit, maybe go and visit them and see where they are, it will dramatically change your life. And it's such an easy technique. Now, what if you didn't know anyone? You do, which makes it easy, but what if you didn't? You can actually just go out and try and make friends. And then once you've got a friendship cemented, you can use, make the statement of interest, be like, hey, you know what? I like you. I love the way you smile. And they go, thanks. And you're like, okay, well, that's not going to go anywhere. And then the next time you hang out with them, you can just be like, hey, you know what? I'm single. And I'm looking to meet somebody. Do you know anyone that's currently single, like to go on a date just for fun? Maybe no strings attached, just go and hang out and have some fun and see if we get on. And once again, you get to use their network. And it is so much easier to meet people that way rather than trying online dating or any of these other things that can put you out there and make it seem like you're a bit desperate. Because most real relationships form through friends of friends. And in fact, as human beings, that is our natural mating style. We're supposed to come with a glowing reference from somebody else. Because, and if we go back to primal times, you'll have the women would all hang out and they'd all be talking while they were gathering, while the guys were off hunting. The guys weren't going out meeting women. They were going out hunting and bringing meat home. And the women would all talk amongst each other. And they'd be like, you know who's a good prospect? That one guy's a good prospect. You should go for that guy. And then they'd come back and they'd be like, let's sit these two together and help them get together. Humans are natural matchmakers. It's what we do. And so all you have to do is start utilizing your social network to matchmake you. Man, I promise you'll probably never be single again, just based off that. Because if you ever are single, all you have to do is make a post and be like, hey, I'm single, like private post to your friends. Does anyone know somebody that might want to go for a date? The last time I was single, like actually single, I made one phone call to one friend who I was attracted to. And I said to her, hey, I just broke up with my partner. And I'm like really single, and I'm looking to go to dinner with someone. I want to go to dinner. I don't want to go alone. Do you know anyone that's single right now that might want to go to dinner? And she literally said to me, sure, I'll go to dinner with you. And me and that person ended up dating for a while. So very simple, very easy, works every single time. Does that help?